introduction, survey research is a great tool that scholars can use to learn more about a variety of subjects. The stages of the survey development process, survey application types based on the purpose, implementation type, and scope error among survey research, error resources are all explored. The collected data is analyzed utilizing the correlation, t-test, variance analysis, ANOVA, and chi-square test. The survey data is based on a true understanding of all the factors to be measured. The respondent perception are unaffected by the interview status or the interviewer gender or race. And the interviewer conduct in a neutral environment. According to the data, the respondent do not understand the researcher's assumption, goals, or concern.
1. Stage in survey development process. To achieve a good survey implementation, we need to know the different stage in development process. It may divide into 4 stages, which is 1. Problem definition is determining the purpose and the question. 2. Writing item, which means forming the draft form. 3. Taking the opinion from the expert and form a pre-application form. 4. Pre-application is analyzing the final form of the survey. The next one is about survey application types. The scanning or survey type research pattern is the most used research type in social science. Most of people have an experience filling of the surveys. There is a lot aspect that survey researchers aim, which is attitude, belief, opinion, behavior, expectation, and others. Surveys can be divided under 2 main titles, which is surveys according to purpose and surveys according to the application form. There are 2 surveys according to purpose. The first one is descriptive survey. This survey was used to identify the selected group's demographic characteristic, opinions on various subject and specific subject, or behavior toward specific case. The second one is analytic survey. This survey was conducted to determine a relationship between the relevant variables. Next is about surveys according to application form. There are 4 types in this survey. The first one is face-to-face survey. Face-to-face survey, or in the other name, tell to the inspector, may be applied to individual or by groups. The advantages of this method are the interviewer can clarify points that respondents do not understand. The disadvantages are the usage of poster and expensive tasks to visit all the addresses. The second one is survey by phone. Through this survey, the interviewer dials the phone number, which are determined beforehand, and asks the question through phones, then he marks the answer on a form. This method does not cause biases, but it is still possible that some bias arises from the interviewer's voice or dialect. This method can be conducted with a lower cost. The third one is survey via mail. This method can be conducted by postal mail or via email. This method mostly related to the economic sectors. The most powerful about this method is cheapness and repeatability. It is also can be done by a single researcher. However, various delays are expected in the written period. The last one is survey via the internet. This method may be conducted in 2 different ways, which is sending the survey form to the email addresses of the relevant persons or placing the survey form on online page.
Benefit and limitation of the survey method. By asking questions, you may gather a vast amount of information on a certain subject. A well-planned survey can yield functional data with a high accuracy rate. The survey's impartiality is better than that of an interview because it is conducted without signatures. However, polls have several drawbacks. It is a weakest part, its slow response rate. Measurements mistake might arise when respondents offer random replies and do not grasp the questions to the same degree. Another negative consequence is the reduction in sample size, which reduces the representative power of the intent study population. Surveys are not an acceptable approach for investigating unlawful activities or religious views because the researcher does not conduct face-to-face interviews with the respondents. Error results in survey research. 1. Error in content. The disparity between the frames utilized in the selection of survey units and the audience is referred to as content error. Assume you want to discover the proportion of individuals living below the poverty line and are conducting a phone poll to find out. Out of 1,000 calls, 150% under the poverty level are terminated, whereas 150 people over the poverty limit are terminated. Number 2, sampling error. There are 3 types of sampling mistakes. The first is caused by a failure to reach the sample. To eliminate this, it is required to follow the sample procedure. Another error could occur in participants to purposely conceal accurate data. Sampling mistakes are considered systemic errors and cannot be eliminated at a later time. Number 3, measurement error. Measurement error occurs at the data collection step, not during the sampling or frame determination. For example, in a high school survey, the question is how frequently do the teacher do the monitoring class? Some students reply occasionally, while others said often. This demonstrates that measurement error can be produced by the survey procedure, pollsters and or survey participants. Number 4, error of not answering. People who simply do not respond indicate that they do not wish to answer the survey questions. It is impossible to regulate the amount to which respondents provide proper responses. The sample may not always provide correct answer on purpose. These kinds of mistakes, which are related to not responding and are classified as systematic errors.
Number 5. Preparation of survey form. First, the number of questions in a survey. In a survey, it is critical to use the fewest number of questions possible and to focus on the most important issues. As a result, questions that appear interesting but do not directly contribute to the research purpose should not be asked. If not enough questions are asked, the research will be incomplete and testing the hypothesis will be impossible. Second, the order of the question in a survey. The order of questions in a survey can have a significant impact on the results obtained. Poorly organized questions confuse respondents, affect their answers, and jeopardize the research quality. The factors that below are important in terms of the order of survey questions. First, questions range from general to specific. Second, the order in which events occur. Third, sequence of events. Fourth, part-time work is done after the previous work is finished. 5. Questions ranging from easy to difficult. Third, types of question in a survey. A large portion of the survey's questions are close-ended. In these types of questions, respondents are given alternative option and asked to mark the option that best reflect their thoughts. These options can be presented in the form of a Likert numerical scale. This information can be obtained by communicating with them and asking. Number 6. Survey analysis. 1. Descriptive statistics. It is the most commonly used technique and serves as the foundation for more advanced statistical techniques. In survey research, descriptive statistics include the sum of numbers or frequencies, rates, percentage, average, arithmetic mean, mode, median, and variability measurements, variation range, standard deviation. Number 2, correlation. There is a relationship between two variables if the value of one variable changes and the value of another variable changes as the result. Correlation is a statistical method for determining the relationship between two variables. If one variable takes a higher value while the other variable also takes a higher value, the two variables are said to have a positive correlation. On the other hand, if one variable has a higher value and another variable has a lower value, there is a negative correlation between the two. Number 3, t-test. The t-test is the most commonly used hypothesis testing method. The t-test compares the average of the two groups and determines whether the difference is statistically or incidentally significant because it allows researchers to work with more samples. The t-test is also known as small sampling theory. Fourth, analysis of variance. ANOVA. If you want to compare two or more groups, or if you want to look at change in a group over time, you should use analysis of variance. The t-test in particular is insufficient for comparing more than two groups. The analysis variances was used. 5. Chi-square test. The X-test technique is appropriate for categorical data. This technique is used to test the equality of the ratios. The ratio is calculated by dividing the total number of respondents by the total number of respondents in one direction.
Conclusion: in this study, data was acquired methodically by asking predetermined subject questions. The stages of the survey production, various types of survey, and the benefit and limitation of the survey has all been investigated. Sources of the survey error, survey preparation and question type. Survey research can be conducted by mail, phone, in-person interview or technological means. To be successful, questions and responses must be legitimate, credible, accessible to a large sample group, and intelligible by developing survey questions and options. There are numerous rules and strategies to follow.